Hello Action Queens, my name is Dumi Mokokwe. I'll be interviewing queens who are taking action towards fulfilling their life purpose, believing that you will be encouraged and inspired on your personal journey. Our guest today is Sheila Kubheka. She holds an honors degree from AFDA and is an award-winning film director with 16 years experience. She's a minister of the word and uses her skill to create uplifting content through her production company, Created. Welcome, Sheila.
Thank you, Dumi. Thank you for inviting me to your show. I know we're going to have a great time.
So I want to find out where this all began. Why study film? I mean, at the time, there was just CCTV, SABC 123, and not so many opportunities that we see today. What made you think of film direction?
To be honest with you, when I even went to film school, I didn't even know what a film director is or any of that. All I knew is that I just like telling stories, that whole thing of telling stories followed me from when I was in primary school, high school. I was the one that would always tell stories, and how I knew that I was actually good at it is that they were quite detailed. The stories that I would tell were quite detailed, more than, the normal, how a normal person would actually tell a story. But then, and also, like, I'd have like a whole lot of people that would surround me and just want to hear what I have to say, with that said, then there was an opportunity. I got a prospectus actually for film school. And when I looked at this, literally, like, I was just like drawn to this, and I was like, what is this? It could be something that I would like. I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do after matric. So when I got that prospectus, I was like, okay, maybe let's try this one. And by God's grace, that was the right choice for me. So yeah.
One of the lucky people, because most people in the first year they realize, oops, wrong turn, and they have to start over. Or even later in life, At the time, were you aware of the term purpose and that in life one needs to live for something?
I didn't think that far. I didn't think purpose or anything like that. Purpose, I think, comes with the knowledge of God and who you are in God. You know what I mean? Then you begin to understand that the reason why you are here for a specific reason that is God ordained. So at the time, I didn't think like that because I wasn't a deep Christian as I am right now, or advanced Christian. I still believe
to this Christianity thing.
Yeah, there is actually, so at the beginning I was just a normal Christian, when I needed God, I would pray, it's fine. But when I didn't him, then I was fine as well, but as soon as you started understanding the relationship with God, then everything changed. Everything began to change, and that's where one begins to find purpose, because now you are in a relationship with the master of all purposes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah. In second year, what had happened was for me to get a confirmation that this is what I actually wanted to do. There was we were asked to tell a story, and we had like little groups, and with each group it had its own crew members and all of that. And I remember with my story, I didn't have anybody that wanted to do my story with me, and I could not tell any other story but the stories that I know.
Yeah, explain the dynamics in the class at the time. Was it a multiracial class, and what were the challenges given your background and where you grew up and your family setup?
Yeah, it was a multiracial school, but it was mostly white people more so than black people, if just to give you like a little bit of a scale, I was the only black director that graduated, female black director that graduated in my year. You know what I mean?
Wow.
In fourth year. So just to see how unbalanced everything was, so and also I don't think it was a matter yaori, yeah, no, you guys are not supposed to come in, type of thing. It's just we just did not know.
Would the fees have been a barrier for those who were interested?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Like I even remember the first 2 years, my mom had to pay the actual school fees, and we're not, like we're not rich or anything, like, so, and I had to work super super hard to actually get a bursary. So for the last 2 years, I got a full bursary from
Thank you,
yeah
Queen
from.
Mom, for making it happen.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was quite interesting because when you are in a space like that, you realize very quickly that you have to work double. You know what I mean? Not only because you're a black person, but also because you are female as well. You know what I mean? Because it is the reality of it is that our industry is male dominated. So just to prove yourself and obviously at the position that I was studying for, which is a director, you have to talk to a lot of people, and those people have to trust that your idea and what you see is correct, and for you to try and sell that idea to people that have been in the industry for many many years and are white, and they're not used to the fact that black young girls can tell them what to do. You can imagine, you have to push to a level where you become hardcore yourself, and that's not a nice place to be, especially when you just, everybody just want to be happy. You know what I mean? No one wants to try and, yeah, make other people listen to them. Can people just do what they need to do, type of thing. Yeah, but yeah, it got to that level because I had to work like extra hard, to get, yeah, the people to trust me and see that I know what I'm talking about, so which is exactly what happened in second year, film school, where nobody was wanted to listen to me because they did not understand my stories. So what I had to do is I had to go out and shoot it myself, write the script myself, do the art direction, the makeup, everything, literally everything I had to do myself. And the interesting thing was that even the editing itself, and at the time I didn't even know how to edit. But what I did was I actually used VHS to edit, like a 5 minute film. You know what I mean? I can't even tell you how I did it today. But because of the level of trying to push so hard, because I understood that in second year you know that your mom first of all cannot afford this, so I cannot afford to fail. Number two, you understand? And if I fail, I don't know what else to do because I've never thought of doing anything else but this. You know what I mean? At that time, so I had no other options. I just needed to make this work, and above everything else, I really, really loved what I was doing, So yeah, and when I shot the movie and everything with that short little film, and yeah, I got the highest marks in class, and it was also,
Wow.
yeah, so there's even a plug, it's at after, where they will, you like I always did when I used to go there, sometimes I'll have a look there and like my name is still there, like second year best film. I was like, yeah, so that's kind of cool, you know what I mean? Just to see that all the hard work, somebody saw the heart in it and the hard work that went into it. So that was really cool.
Awesome. What was the story about? I'm getting curious. Just the gist of it.
Yeah. The story was the funniest thing was that it was about rape at the time. Okay. So not actually it wasn't even just rape, but it was child molestation,
Wow.
So yeah, it was quite hectic. And I remember at the time, like I would normally, come up with like really hectic ideas because I felt like no one is doing anything about this. So somebody, like, I'm going to do my part. You know what I mean? I need to let people know that this thing is real. You know what I mean? Even if it's in a movie or whatever. And how it was captured was also very, very graphic. Not graphic in terms of, you seeing body parts, but, the emotions behind it. And, like you could literally like connect to it and feel for this person, you know what I mean? And so that was the story. But yeah, I don't know why they did not relate to the story, to be honest with you, because it's a universal problem. But
sometimes certain things scare us and we don't want to see the reality. It's better to film romance and all the good things and not necessarily the bad side of things. Wow, that's impactful, and that speaks to purpose just right there from the beginning. That even a school project to mean something, it couldn't just be just for the sake of, you know. That's amazing. And then what happened after second year? So now you know, okay, I'm meant to be here. You have confirmation
yeah.
and accolades. So you're good at it. And where to from there after you now graduate and you enter the industry? And how does that now work for you?
The, yeah, again, God's grace, in third year. So now I was supposed to do, 4 years. So that's like a 4-year degree, like an honors degree. So in third year, there was a company called Suburban Films at the time, and they heard about me that, I'm studying this and I'm this young black girl and all of that. So they called the school and they literally headhunted me and said, we want to train her to do commercials. And I remember saying, look, if they can wait another year, because now I'm still studying, I'm not gonna go out, half baked, So I just said, if you still want me after my fourth year, then I'll come, So, and they did actually wait. They called me after my fourth year and said, we are ready for you. They flew me all the way to Cape Town for the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this, and paid for everything, literally the place to stay, everything, and trained me, and also paid me my salary at the end of the month, which was kind of cool, So that's how I started my career, and I was trained by somebody that was like, this man was unbelievable, and I know for a fact that I learned a lot from him. They used to call him the man with the magic eye, and I remember always like looking at him when he's looking into the camera. I'm like, what is he seeing? Why is this man seeing this thing like this? You know what I mean? I want to know how he gets to that point. And because of that, that curiosity, I got to learn so much because I wanted to see, I wanted to be better. I wanted to have what he had and better, and more, So about 7 years I was with them, and shot like really, really cool commercials, and some of the famous commercials that people would remember back then, like Abo Lucky Star and Cool, all of those things. And, yeah, I really, really enjoyed myself in the career that I was at.
So now there is Created, right?
Yeah,
Which is a
yeah,
YouTube channel or
yeah,
platform where there
yeah.
are various channels like News Intersections and various others. How did that come about, and how does it relate to this one purpose?
How created began to happen is that it was so funny because I began to have like so many different ideas, but they were all Christian based, and I knew that especially in our country it's very, very difficult to put anything Christian on mainstream television.
While we're talking about the difficulty, can do you have a revelation as to why that is, and also how important is content and television in influencing culture and
Yeah.
the way people behave?
Yeah. I honestly believe that it's a spiritual thing, right?
Mm,
Because now, if you look at it, most of the content that you see on television, whether movies or whatever, it doesn't matter where it is, there is no way you will not find swearing on it. Okay, there's no way where you will not find sex. You know what I mean? And explicit, like literally, like it's
getting
so
worse.
bad. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's not even soft porn anymore. Like you are literally like you have to watch this thing because you just want to watch this movie, and
Mm,
also that for me, like I got tired of that, and I was like, to be honest with you, because it's my choice to click and say, yeah, I want to watch this, but I
yeah.
don't also want to be subjected to watching your filth. You know what I mean? Can Why can it not just be clean? Way back then, movies were cleaner. You know what I mean? They had the proper age restriction. Right now, you say age restriction 13.
I have a 13-year-old,
Yeah,
and I still haven't opened access because I watch some of the things that they say she can watch, and I'm like, no, it's still not suitable. So there is really hunger and a need for good content that uplifts and that motivates, that also entertains. There's clean fun out there.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, created.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's addressing the need, and what are the channels within created, or the different programs that one can look at.
Yeah, so we've got five different channels at the moment, okay, that are already like in progress. So we've got News Intercession. News Intercession, basically we take the highlights of the news, or the top news of the world, and then we package it, and then I have a database of about over 1,000 men and women of God on different levels, so I get them to pray on that specific issue on the news, and then we've got Testify. Testify is, it's a show where people speak about their encounters with God. So we're not talking about just a normal testimony that, okay, somebody gave me 200 rands and I didn't even ask for it. You know what I mean? That's also a testimony, and it's a good thing. You can see the grace of God on different levels. But now I'm talking about people that they're even scared to go out and speak about these things, these encounters, because people would think that they are crazy. But the
Yeah.
fact of the matter is that it is real. And I've got online pulpit. Online pulpit, it's different ministers, whether you're a pastor or whether you're a saint, as long as you know how to minister and you can read the Bible, and and the Lord is speaking to you in terms of what needs to be said out there, then you can come on and you minister for 12 minutes basically. So this goes on every Friday, at 12 p.m., and it is for 12 minutes. So that's online pulpit. And then we have AD Youth. AD Youth, there's a section on AD Youth. It's called Ask. Ask is, I found it very weird, that not weird, but like I found that there's a lack in understanding most of the time when you're in church, because there's no opportunity to raise your hand and ask the pastor and say, but I don't understand this part. What do you mean? Or, you know what I mean? Like there's no platform where people can actually ask these type of questions. You know what I mean? So, so I found a need for that. And so I went around and just began to ask people, and some of them will send me video clips, asking questions. like really deep questions, you know what I mean? Things like, why didn't God kill Satan from the beginning of time? You know what I mean? Why did he have to let him do what he's doing to us right now, you know? And that's a very deep question. And there is an answer for that in the Bible, you know what I mean? So it's things like that that we have to deal with. And because of that database that I was talking about initially, you know, of, you know, the men and women of God, because I have that, these are people that have studied the word of God, and it's not necessarily their opinion how they respond to the people, because they have to respond biblically so that we all can go back into the word of God, you know. So that's what Ask is all about. And then we've got AD Kids is basically children's stories, you know. With that one, it's still work in progress, but there's like different little segments there. So we even looking at doing a puppet show, you know, for the little ones, you know, like for the 5-year-olds and stuff. So basically created, it's an actual channel where you can find, you know, all types of content for Christians. We are also in pre-production actually now for another channel, for another show, which is called 12. It's Anno Domini 12. So that is a Christian soapy, you know. So that's going to be very, very exciting. And I'm like, you know, every time I work on it, I get very excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never thought that there could be a soapy, you know, on something in the Bible, you know, which is something kind of new. So I'm quite excited about that. Yeah.
That's amazing. Can't wait to watch. And so talking about some of the challenges, I mean, you are just Sheila. There's a big production company behind you, except for God, that's making all this happen. How have you persevered to make this a reality?
Yeah. Well, you know, Dumine, it almost like you almost have to go in it like on a pilot mode, you know what I mean? So for you to persevere, because once you start thinking about what you don't have and the people that you don't have around you to help you and all of that, all the negative stuff, then it can never be done, you know. So all you do is, okay, what do I have? And that's exactly what God asked Moses. He said to Moses, what do you have in your hand? You know what I mean? He didn't, and yet Moses was only seeing trouble. He was seeing a sea in front of him. He was seeing things in, you know, behind him. But God said, what do you have in your hand? And that has been my philosophy, you know, throughout this journey, saying, what do I have in my hand? So if I have a computer like this right now, here we are shooting, you know what I mean? And the work of God is going forward. And so basically that's how I've been doing it, you know. And but also God has been sending me people that will help you, that will help me, you know what I mean? People like you, you know. I mean, you know, I've gotten like so much help even from young people as well. But the funniest thing is that the people that would come is people that also would need, you know, ministering too, you know. And those are people that come and go. And and I get very excited, especially when they go, because I know somebody else is going to come in, and you know the ministration carries on.
How long did it take for you to know that it's a revolving door? It's not just an open door where people will leave you, but someone new is coming. That's confirmation and comfort with people leaving.
Yeah, I think after like the third person that left, and I was like, how? We just started. But and then you know what I mean? But and then when I looked in hindsight, I was like, but this person, when they came here, they would ask me so many questions about God, and I'll tell them. And by the time they left, these are people that now they're just reading the word by themselves, and you know, and they'll call me and say, hey, I'm reading here, and they'll give me their revelation. So that means my job has been done, and that's why they've left. This had nothing to do with an actual the creation of created, but it was more so these are people that needs to be ministered to, and and they would only hear, or not only hear, but this is one of the ways that it will be easy for them to understand, you know, the word of God in action, you know what I mean? So yeah, exactly. So so I had to find peace with that. And yeah, through prayer, and I was like, Lord, what's going on? Like, people come and go, like I feel used. I had to I had to accept that and say, okay, no, I get it, and like, and it is well with me, so now I get excited when they go, because I'm like, okay, I wonder who's coming and with what skills, because normally when they come in, it's the funniest thing that the person that is coming at that moment, their skills is required for that moment. After that, to be honest with you, I don't need them. You know what I mean? And instead, like, yes, of course, I would want to impart so much more, to them, because of all the knowledge that I have. You know what I mean? From all the experiences that I have. But I guess at that moment, they had received what they needed to receive as well. And
cutting, like burning of bridges. It is just like,
yeah,
late.
Exactly. And I think also, because these people are not people that I employ. I get it, created. You have to look at it as it's a ministry on its own. You know what I mean? It's not an actual company. It's a ministry. So even the people that are working, yes, I will give them, like, something yana, because they, like for transport, or like. So what I will do normally is that when they work here, and I've got other projects happening on the side, or I know somebody who's got a project and I know they would need their skills, then I will refer them, so that at least they're making money as well on the other side. It's not like, no, we're only working there and, you're not really making money or anything like that. And I'm not making money either at all. Instead, whatever that I have, that I'm doing on the side, I literally pour it this side, because at this point in time, it is really about making sure that the people of God know who God is, and there's like a really good content, you know what I mean, out there, the God that we serve.
So talk to me about sacrifice.
Sacrificing
for your purpose, because sometimes one thing's, or there is I don't know if it's a lie, where they say, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. It makes it sound like it's easy, because you are working in your purpose, things just fall into place, and you always, you have your rhythm, but what has it been like, in your experience?
I think if sacrifice was not difficult, it would not be sacrificed. So, whether you are in your purpose or not, sacrifice is sacrifice. So you sacrifice even things that you never thought that you sacrifice, you know what I mean? But the amazing thing about it is that, God is always so true. That's the nice thing about it, because He will say, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. With every sacrifice that I have made, God has given me far above and beyond what you know what I mean, what I had. I mean, the amount of testimonies that I have on a daily basis. I'm not talking like weekly, I'm talking on a daily basis. I'm talking even today, I've got a testimony. Yesterday I had a testimony. You know what I mean? So and you get to that level when now you understand the give and take. So you sacrificing what you have to allow God to do what He wants to do with you, basically, and that you have to learn as you grow. You give that last money, and you don't want to. You tell God, I don't want to. I'm gonna do it because you said I must do it, but I don't want to. But as soon as you release it, and you begin to see amazing things. Really, you begin to see amazing things.
So, Sheila, what's the way forward with your purpose and where we are at now? We currently in lockdown in South Africa, where we are practicing social distancing. We need to stay at home. Now, in your environment, how do you see this, what your work being impacted, and how it impacts the world right now?
I'm okay with what's going on right now with the lockdown. You know what I mean? It's time to stay in the Lord and and just hear what God is saying. You know what I mean? It's time for people to be quiet. and that's how I'm looking at this time as. And because it's not like it's forever, you know what I mean? So I'm taking this opportunity to be quiet because of the type of work that I do. I have to hear what God wants to say to his people. I can't just do my own thing, it's not my business, it's God's business, you know what I mean? So and yeah, so that's how I'm taking this time. It's not like I'm sitting around doing nothing. I'm still working on different concepts as well. I'm working on my own as a director, as a film director, in terms of career wise. I'm pitching and doing all sorts of things. So it's the quietness is really honestly the quietness in God, just to seek him, what I mean? Read more of the word, discuss the word with friends, and such. So yeah, by the time this thing is done, what's gonna come out will be even much more, thicker and deeper and more rich. I think created after this will go even further, than where it was.
Amazing the timing of when Created was launched ahead of this period. I just find that, wow, God, you're so amazing, because you kept on saying, I feel a sense of agency to do this now.
I did.
And now, not running around scrambling to launch, it's launched, you are adding on and you are growing it. Thank you so much for taking your time out to share with us. And I trust that a lot of people will gain a lot from what you've shared, especially about your close relationship with Christ.
Yeah, and I hope everything goes well with Action Queens. I'm really, really excited to be part of it as well. So yeah, and I'm honored.
Catch new interviews weekly and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Remember to subscribe to our new YouTube channel.